This song is called Called to Be by Faith Rivera.
That was slow, Gene.
I am called to be a healer for all humanity. I am called to be a dreamer, believe in what can be. I am called to be a maker, be an instrument of peace. I am called to be a giver, of abundance I receive. I am called to be a prayer, living out the truth I seek. I am called to be everything. I am called to be the glory here on earth, so all might see all the love and the beauty that shines in you and me. I am the living, breathing God, and you are one in me. We are called to be. You are called to be a mother, to nurture family. You are called to be a brother, be strength in times of need. You are called to be a neighbor, see a friend in all you meet. You are called to be a leader, to build community. You are called to be a prayer, living out the truth you seek. You are called to be everything. You are called to be. Called to be the glory here on earth, so all might see all the love and all the beauty that shines in you and me. You are the living, breathing God, and you are one in me. We are called to be. We are called to be the kindness, set the brokenhearted free. We are called to be forgiveness, where pain has run too deep. We are called to be compassion, be the wind beneath each wing. We are called to make communion, only then can we succeed. We are called to be a prayer, living out the truth you seek. We are called to be everything. We are called to be. Called to be the glory here on earth, so all might see all the love and all the beauty that shines in you and me. We are the living, breathing God, and you are one in me. We are called to be. Called to be peace, called to be joy, called to be love. Called to be peace, called to be joy, called to be love. Called to be peace, called to be joy, called to be love. We are called to be. And now let's tune into our breath. And notice the ease or the effort. breath. And where there may be effort, remind yourself that in this moment and in all moments, you are being breathed. Yes, you are being breathed. Find comfort in knowing that the God within is always with you. Release your effort. You do not need to try so hard. You can choose to allow and watch what unfolds. And remember, you are a child of God. You are a child of God. You are the heart. You are the hands. You are the voice of spirit on earth. And who you are and all you do is a blessing to the world. I am the heart and I am the hands. I am the voice of spirit on earth. And who I am and all I do is a blessing to the world. I'm a blessing to the world. A blessing to the world.
And so, dear friends, we join again in a time of guided meditation. This is our time to fully appreciate this moment in time and this life we are so privileged to live and express. So feel free to find a position in which you feel most comfortable. Many of us will close our physical eyes during this time. And it is your choice. And all we ask of Spirit during this time is to guide us through this moment and throughout this day. And so allow your body to relax fully. And as you hear the word relax, relax, relax. Surrender to the idea of being immersed in spirit. Today's daily word theme is that of appreciation. Why not let that be our thought and our message to ourselves and others throughout this day? I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Imagine in your mind's eye seeing yourself and hearing yourself stating that affirmation, I appreciate you, to all those who you would like to hear it today. In our minds, we can say it to them right now. Picture their face and their smile, hear their voice, perhaps their laughter. I appreciate you. I really appreciate you. Thank you for being who you are. Imagine, if you will, what else you appreciate in this privilege of life. This would be a good time to appreciate our bodies and all of the functions they carry out as our temporary home to this spirit that we call ourselves. I appreciate my breath. Perhaps appreciate our five senses: smell, taste, touch, hearing, seeing. So much to appreciate. To all of my senses, I say, I appreciate you. Thank you for enriching my life. And today, when we walk out into the weather, whatever it is, I appreciate the weather, the temperature, the humidity. It reminds me of the privilege of living, all of these things. And as we bring our time, our attention, and focus back to this time and this place, picture once again a group of individuals standing before us, all of whom we want to hear our appreciation of them. Perhaps family and friends and colleagues. Picture that group and clearly say to them, I appreciate you. I really do. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you for privilege. I appreciate you.
You do.
I do.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
So every day at our house, I stand, did you say 3 feet?
About.
Maybe we can say 3.5 out, so I feel better.
Could be 4 even. It's a long throw you're about to allude to.
I stand about 3.5 or 4 feet away from our recycle bin. And I've got a container that I'm aiming to get into that bin. It doesn't matter how close I am. I draw back, I toss it, and either I hold onto it too long and it goes bouncing off of something else, or I draw it, I let it go too soon, and then it falls to the floor. Now, sometimes, on occasion, I am able to, when I get into the zone and I stand there and I focus my consciousness and I see it and I aim for the center, sometimes I can actually get it in. But it does take me to focus. I have to get into to really put that consciousness in my mind that I'm going to accomplish this.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't that kind of true about life? Isn't that true about life? So, do you recall a time when your focus maybe was a little off? Maybe you tried a little too hard, you hung on to it a little too long, and it went over the top, or it hit the wall, or it hit something else, and it just didn't end up where you hoped it to be. Or was there a time where maybe you let go too soon? Or maybe you chose to focus on an activity that really wasn't the priority that you needed to set? Has that ever happened to you? And what happened when you really sat down, put your mind to it, you thought about it through, and you really stepped into the moment and stepped into the task that you wanted to complete? How did that feel to you? Was there a difference between all of these different scenarios for you? The quest says putting God first means being true to the presence which made you. It means thinking and acting from your highest level and always being open to God's will as it seeks to unfold itself through you. If we put God first, we don't have to concern ourselves with the details of how things are going to work out. Mm-hmm. Aim for the experience of the presence of God. Be tunnel visioned toward the Christ within.
I like what you said, and I like what the quest said about being tunnel vision, and it gave me a new perspective on tunnel vision, because I've always used it as kind of a negative, in that I say, we focus on our problems to the point where we can't see anything else other than the problems. I say we, I mean I also, of course. And sometimes I'll use a closed fist like this, and I'll say, when I focus on a problem, while there may be an array of options, all I see is the problem. Like, there are a number of people in the sanctuary, less than the 20 we're obligated to hold here. But all I can see right now is Joe, and all I can see is Kim. And I'm not saying that Joe and Kim are problems. I'm merely saying that that's all I can see when I'm focusing through my tunnel vision. And the quest is saying, use that tunnel vision to focus on the Christ. What if I said, I'm going to see everybody and everything from the perspective of the Christ within, from that tunnel vision? Wow, how enlightening would that be? So thank you, Quest, for bringing that to my attention. And the Quest also states, the degree to which you place God first in your life is directly proportional to the amount of ease and joy you'll experience in your life. It goes on to say, putting God first lets your life experience flow out of your relationship with God, and instead of trying to use God to change what's happening. And yet, as we have discussed in past talks, I agree that sometimes experiences flowing out of our relationship with God can result in joy and in ease, and sometimes the degree to which I place God first may bring challenge to my traditional thinking or my way of being.
So what you're saying is the quest may be applying this concept a little too simplistically?
I think so, and sometimes I'll refer to Eastern writings for guidance. And in the Tao Te Ching, it says, the supreme good is like water. And to me, the supreme good would be, although they may not be referring to it, is God or the Christ. And it goes on to say, the supreme good is like water. It nourishes all things without trying to. And it is content with the low places that people disdain. And typically when I think of water, I think of, like Lake Michigan, clear, clean blue water, or the ocean, or a flowing stream. I don't usually think of swamps. When I think of swamps, I think of kind of green, algae-covered water that's like 1/3 green stuff, and 1/3 mud, and 1/3 water. And I think it could be seen as one of the low places that people disdain that the Tao referred to. And yet, in that swamp, there is more life in a cubic foot of swamp water than there is in these clear blue lakes or rivers that I'm alluding to. So the swamp is nourishing a lot more life than its counterparts. So when I place Spirit first in my mind, I may find myself in the swamp of life. The places where I don't want to go, or most people don't want to go. And that would be places where my traditional thinking is in doubt, or I'm debating it, or where my cultural standards are challenged. And that would represent to me yet areas where life is most alive. And in fact, during last week's talk, you alluded to Congressman John Lewis, civil rights leader, and his experience of combating racism and the violence he was subjected to. That would be a clear example of one of the swamps, in a sense, in that those aren't places of ease and joy, and yet he was truly putting God first, and yet they are places that are just alive with life.
So we're saying that putting God first can create joy and ease in your life. And there are times where that does apply. But we also are admitting that there are other times when it may bring you face to face with your swamp. Okay? So my question is, even in those swamp experiences, is it possible to still experience peace? Is it possible? Have you ever experienced a time when you were doing the simplest task that felt like swimming through concrete? Have you ever had, like, your mind is alive and is saying, like, I can do this. This doesn't take that much. I mean, I can send out that e-blast. It's not a big deal. It shouldn't take me any time at all. Why can't I get myself to sit down and do it? Why? I realize for me, when I'm experiencing that, it's because I'm feeling anxiety about something. So I would much rather put my energy into making a paperclip necklace than sending out that e-blast. It's so much easier, right? But it's not going to accomplish anything. And what I really need to be doing is working on my taxes and sending those out. That's what I'm avoiding. So my anxiety, the anxiety that I'm experiencing, actually is creating more stress. It's my mini swamp. It's my mini swamp. And until I address that, it's not going to go away. But when I go to my center, when I settle it down and I realize, okay, I put God first. What's the worst thing that can happen? I put God first. I'm taken care of. I really believe I'm taken care of. I really believe there's a power greater than myself that will move me through every single day, and I will have the resources, and everything that I need will be met. When I can do that, I get into the flow. And then when I get into that flow, everything becomes so easy. And I zip through that e-blast. I zip through the paperclip necklace too. But even the taxes, I can get myself through them. And I still have energy afterwards, because when I've tapped into the God first idea, I'm tapping into unlimited potential and energy, right? So now, I really appreciated that you mentioned John Lewis, Congressman John Lewis. And I think about what he went, it wasn't easy what he did. However, I have to wonder that when he tapped into God first and he tapped into what was his to do, there had to be a sense of peace about it that counteracted the consequences of the abuse that he received, because he kept going back and back. And even when I watch some of the documentaries about the Freedom Riders and what they went through, they would say, it didn't matter. I had this vision. I had to do what I needed to do about this. And it was stronger than the outcomes or the consequences that I might experience. I mean, those people felt so strongly and felt so much of the flow within them that they had even prepared their wills in case they didn't come back. To me, there had to be, I just can't imagine that there would be anything less than some sense of peace within them in what they were doing and what they believed in and how they wanted, what they wanted to see come about because of that. So the God within seems to provide us with an emotional peace greater than any consequence that we might experience, that he experienced even outside of ourselves. And it empowers us to keep going. And it empowers us with unlimited potential, because that's what we're made from. Do you agree?
I agree, and he was an example of where the quest says, putting God first lets your life experience flow out of your relationship with God rather than trying to use God to change your life experience. He says, okay, this is the way it is. I'm going for it. And you are about to read a letter to the congregation from our friend Dave Carlson that I think is just a perfect example of letting his life experience flow out of the presence of God instead of asking God to change his life experience. And I'm here to support you in reading that.
Thank you. And I'm just going to settle in right now and put myself in the center, aim for the center, and I'm going to allow the God first in me move through this.
Take a breath.
To an amazing church family, no words can express the love and affection I have felt from each and every one. Your prayers and affirmations have been felt, and I know for sure They have done me a lot of good. I wish I could thank each of you in person. However, I do not think I will be able to be back at USCW in the near future. Please know that however you pray, your work has been done, and I cannot thank you enough. I have so much enjoyed being part of the USCW family. While I don't know how much time my earthly body will last, I do know I will still be around once it has filled its purpose of sustaining me for as long as it has. Today I start home hospice, and I'm so very much at peace with my decision. I cannot tell you what a joy and a relief it is to know such peace. As I said above, I know I will still be around after my earthly body dies off and I become one with the source. Don't believe me? Just feel that tingle in your ear if you think of me. That's me. I can't predict when I will be around, but I know I will be. Also know I have been healed when my earthly body dies off. Yes, healed. I will no longer be in any pain. I will have lived the earthly life as best as I can. I have been so blessed. Achieving dreams I never thought I could, like flying an airplane and traveling to international destinations I never thought I would see. I've been very lucky. And in closing, I will not say goodbye in this note, just that once I die, we will meet up again.
Take a breath, sweetie.
And I say that with as much love as I possibly can. Thank you again for all your love and support, Dave.
This song is called I Live in God by Mark Shepard. And I'd like to dedicate it to Dave and his message to us today. I had a Sunday school teacher back when I was 5. She said something I'll remember as long as I'm alive. We live in God like the fish live in the sea. God lives in us like the sea lives in the fish. We live in God like clouds live in the sky. God lives in us like light lives in our eyes. I live in God. God lives in is one. God lives in me. It's Sunday morning. I'm sitting here in the pew with you. MP and Tom are speaking truth. And the affirmation starts resonating in my heart. How can I keep from singing from the God in me, the God in you, the God in we? I live in God. I remember God lives in me. I surrender, I live in God. And one is one, God lives in me. And two is one, I live in God. Like the fish live in the sea, God lives in me. Like the sea lives in the fish, I live in God. Like clouds live in the sky, God lives in me. Like light lives in our eyes, I live in God. I remember God lives in me. I surrender, I live in God. Like the fish live in the sea, God lives in me. Like the sea lives in the fish, I live in God. God lives in me.
Perfect song.
It seems difficult to do the announcements, much less pull a song like that together. Thank you, Lori.
Yeah.
My goodness.
And if you are interested in visiting with Dave, he has open doors for anyone who wants to come by and visit. You would just need to, it will be outside on his patio. So he's very much at peace. And just like the song, he's already made that shift to being bigger than his body.
Mm.
Would you agree?
I agree totally. Yes.
Yeah. So, whew,
Take a breath.
thank you for being here.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for walking the journey with Dave and with each other and with us. It's what it's all about. It really is. And I'm so grateful that we have the opportunity to get this word out to other people. And we're continuing to want to make that happen for you. So you'll notice that we have a fundraiser going on right now for our audio-visual, so that the blips that kind of happen, like a little bit today, we can continue to broadcast a little more stably. So if you are in any way interested in contributing to that, you can go to our website and you can choose the PayPal, and I believe, Eric, if I'm correct, you can designate where your donation would go to. Is that correct? Okay, so it is correct. So you'd be able to donate to just designate it towards our audiovisual so that we can continue to bring you these messages that are so meaningful and bring you the examples of lives that are so meaningful. So we'd appreciate that. Another thing that you might want to know about this week is we have the cycle, we are recycling again. We have the free-for-all on the 15th. If there's anything that you need or would like to bring to share with someone else who is experiencing, maybe something that they could use, Please bring that the 15th. It runs from 9 until noon, and Maria Pizzuto-Wubbs is head of that. You can show up with something you'd like to share and take away something that might help you too. So we're just keeping the resources going and flowing. Okay? And next week, Sunday, we won't be here.
Day off.
We have a day off. We're going to invite Mary Lockman, a longtime member of this ministry, to come and speak. And her title of her talk is called Ride the Wave, Use Your God-Given Powers to Do It. And so I think it's a good message that we can use every day. So grateful for you being here. Let's go ahead and after we say our prayer for protection, we'll go ahead with our Zoom meeting afterwards. So log in to that if you are ready to share. I mean, we can share about today's talk and how you feel about everything and where you are at. Okay? So prayer for protection?
Absolutely.
All right.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Thanks,
And
everyone.
so it is.
Take care. Have a great week.
Happy Sunday.
Yeah.